Here I go. Welcome to the Javier Mendez
Hey, happy
podcast.
birthday today. Anyway, today's your birthday, right?
It is. Thank you.
Happy birthday. 52?
52. Old enough to be somebody's dad or uncle or grandfather.
Right?
All three. I qualified. Should be a discount on different things. Actually, nothing. Nothing happens at 52. I'm going to wait for another, 12 more years? No, 13 more years to get the real discount. Oh, well. So we got some fan questions. I wanted to talk about the upcoming card. Which would you prefer to do first?
Just do the upcoming card. I'm just trying to remember who's on there.
Okay.
It's hard to remember.
Well, we've got Henry Cejudo. You know that one right there, right?
Yeah, and Dominic.
And Dominic.
And then Gano and Rosenstruck. And then I don't really know the other ones other than the main event. I kind of know Pettis and Cowboy. So just talk about the main ones, really.
Yeah, so we're seeing the tempo go. It was interesting. I saw an article the other day. Gaethje said, I would not have fought Khabib on this short of notice, but he'd fight Tony. What do you think about that?
Well, he'd be smart to say that because Khabib, you better have a full camp.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's smart for seasons. It proves he's a smart fighter to me. Khabib's got a particular style that's really rough to beat. Tony is just rough all the way around, but it doesn't have a particular style. He's just rough all the way around. Khabib is really strong in the grappling area, and you got to be in great shape to keep up with that, And so, no, for him, it's the right call.
Yeah, can't fault him. That was pretty humble for him to admit. People are like, oh, I could have beat him any day all the time. They just live in reality. Obviously, Justin's got his head in the reality. It's interesting. I was reading the article where Josh Thompson described his fight with him, and you guys probably heard this long ago, that Tony's hands are really long and they can wrap around your arm, and you have trouble shaking it off or breaking the hold.
I don't know if it was so much that Tony just kicked the crap out of Josh. We were actually very close to throwing in the towel or doing whatever we could to try to stop it. We actually did want to stop it, but that's why you have to look at the ref. The ref has to stop it. So it's kind of like Josh kept fighting. So it's kind of like messing myself up and Crazy Bob. And I like what Nate Diaz's brother, Nick, did. Just jump on the cage and F you guys. I'm stopping this fight. And, that's the way it should be. I wish they would just change that so our mentality would be save your fighter at all costs. That's what boxing does. And we should be allowed to do the same thing. We shouldn't be any different than the way boxing does it. So that's what I feel. And as far as what Josh was doing exceptionally well until he got hit with that elbow right in the temple. Then after that, it was all over. He was never in the fight whatsoever. And that was honestly, I think personally, a mistake on my part, and Crazy Bob and us corner didn't stop that fight. That's our fault.
Well, I mean, early UFCs, I saw the white towel being used like a projectile, like, hurry, throw it in there. Remember? I mean, the first few.
No, the way it's done is we're supposed to look at the doctor and tell him we want the fight to stop. So that's what's fucking hard. It's like, how do you look at the doctor and you're looking at your fighter, you look at the doctor, then the fight, you're missing the action. So it's kind of like if you're looking up their action, you got the towel, throw it in, you come up, you see what's up. But you have to look at the doctor to get his goddamn attention. And it's just stupid. It's stupid. They should change that rule.
That's a tough one. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, Josh, I'm using his thing because he fought him. And he was saying that he had he feels like Tony had an eclectic breakdancing background, which gives him this crazy footwork, which I can see that. I mean, it gives you
what I'm trying
balance.
to say, I'm sorry, I should have clarified it. When Josh got hit in the temple, he was never Josh anymore. So for me, I don't count Josh's fight as anything because once he got hit, he was no longer the same guy. But before he got hit, he was outpointing him.
Mm-hmm.
Before he got hit. Watch the fight. Josh was outpointing him by a little bit. But when he got hit, that was it. It was over. So I don't really care what Josh says because he's talking after he got hit in the temple, not before he got hit in the temple. So to me, anything he says after that point doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can see that, especially from a coach perspective. Well, I mean, you're looking at Gaethje, extremely hard-hitting guy. He's got knockout power. He has downed a lot of big opponents. Tony's been clipped a lot of times, and he's been resilient. But we're all wondering, is this the puncher's chance? Is he going to go in there Does he have a high chance of catching Tony? I mean, he's pretty relentless. And Tony, they're both pressure fighters. Who do you think's going to back up first?
I don't know. They're both going to meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They're both slugging it out. Who meets who? And Gaethje doesn't have a puncher's chance. Gaethje flat out has a chance. There's no puncher's chance. There's no this. The same thing with both of those guys. They both have the opportunity to beat each other. It just depends on who can get in what rhythm first and stay on that rhythm and not get broken up. And I don't know who that's going to be. I just know it's going to be a great fight, and I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't really know who's going to win. I would like Gaethje to win, but I don't know if he will win. If I had to pick, I might say Tony's slight favorite.
Yeah, that seems to be the ongoing thing. A few reviews that I read, Tony the slight favorite. It's like power I'd give to Gaethje, but continual combinations and relentlessness, I'd definitely give that to Tony and his craftiness. He's very crafty, and he gets you at such abstract things that you can't train for. You're like, what? You can't, you get in a rhythm that you're used to, and it's hard to snap into what's happening right in front of you, I would presume. I mean,
Tony isn't going to break. Gaethje won't break, but Gaethje could get stopped.
Yeah. I
don't think Tony will get stopped. I think the way to beat Tony is you outpoint him. You outstrike him. You out control him. I don't know about knocking him out. I don't know if that you can knock him down. I don't know if you can keep him out though. So I don't know. That's just what I think.
I see them kicking the crap out of each other's legs because that's one of Gaethje's favorite weapons coming.
That's not Tony's thing. Tony is not much of a leg kicker. He kicks, but he's not much of a leg kicker. He does everything. He's a pressure fighter. He's a lot of. What I see is the danger could be for Gaethje is the elbows of Tony. Tony's one of the best I've seen at that weight with the elbows. Nobody's better than him at that. So, and they come from nowhere, man. You just all of a sudden you go, how the hell did that come from? So he throws fantastic elbows. So I definitely would be concerned about the elbows. And the best way to protect against elbows is keep your hands up, keep it up high.
Yeah, the last time I saw elbows, not last time, but long time ago, I remember a fight. Jake Shields, he was fighting a guy that he had on the Carlos Condit, had him on the ground. They were fighting in Hawaii. And that's the first time I saw somebody use elbows effectively from their back. And he was just tearing up his face, even though he was, getting pushed around on mount. Jake was the one that was eating those elbows up. And Tony, I mean, he's renowned. It's like he's a guy in the cage, kind of like with a machete. And he tears everybody up. Everybody's face seems to get torn up consistently with Tony. I mean,
yeah, no, he's a great fighter, man. I mean, you underestimate him. Good luck, good riddance, because you're gonna pay for that. You got to respect him, man. He's 12-0 for a reason, and it's not like he fought slouches. There's not one slouch in the UFC. I don't care if it's his first UFC appearance or whatever. There isn't one slouch in the UFC. So he's 12-0 for a reason. I mean, he's beat some great fighters, and he's fighting another great fighter, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens with us after that. But I'm just looking forward for the event to happen because we haven't had a sporting event, since the pandemic hit us, so it'd be kind of cool to watch, see how it goes, and see how it will do, with no audience. I saw the one in Brazil, and I got to admit it wasn't as exciting, but it was better than nothing. And this case, I'm thinking it's going to be the same. We're going to miss the crowds being there and, the announcing and the whole bit. So I don't know. It's a little different watching it like this. It's not as exciting. But those guys, Tony and Gaethje, are going to be such a great fight. I don't think people are going to care on that one.
Yeah, that's an extremely exciting fight. It's a treat. I'm looking forward to that this weekend. And both of these guys, they bring it. Nobody's playing a point fight on this. So that
they're going to knock each other the hell out, and then one of them is going to get it. I don't know which one, but one of them is going to get the job done, and it'll be a fight for the fans. This for damn sure. I don't see this not. I see Gaethje get another fight of the night type bonus, some kind of bonus, so that'll make 8 for him out of 7 fights. Pretty impressive. So that's what I see in this fight. It's just. Man, these guys are going for it, and I see a great fight, and I see both anxious to get in there and get it done, and going on to the next one, So that's what I see.
You're just talking about, we haven't seen, the last fight was kind of blacked out. There was no fans. It was just the fighters in the cage. And I think when that was aired, I mean, we may see different numbers. Dana maybe come out a winner to have the only sporting event in the world going on at the time in the world, right? The only major high level professional sport.
I don't know if it's in the world, bro, because there is also, I mean, there's other sports that are being thrown from I would just say the U.S., man, because I wouldn't go the world. We don't even know the world. We don't know what's going on. Like I heard that I did the Luke Thomas show this morning, and they were talking about watching baseball from Korea. So we're not the only ones, bro. So
yeah, I guess it's the only brand name one, the big brand.
Well, brand name to who? I mean, Korea. They, you can't say they're pro baseball over there. You can't say brand name over there. Just because we live here doesn't mean that Korea is not a brand name. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. And I'm sure they're major stars over there. You got to remember, we can't be living in the bubble of good old US of A and thinking only in the USA is it really count as sports. And the US of A, hey, basketball doesn't mean anything to the whole world. Soccer does. And that's a fact.
Basketball's made some leaps with China investing in it, but
but the whole world has not.
Yeah,
the whole world has not made a big leap into it. It's the whole world that knows soccer. The whole world.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole world does not know our version of football. Does not know the basketball the way we know it here. They don't, because the whole world doesn't participate in basketball like we do. There's some European leagues, Canadian league, and what you say, China.
Yeah.
What about India? What does India
have? India has one pro basketball player that came out of the country.
Yeah, there you go. And how about those other countries? So now as a whole world, the only one that really counts is soccer. And in all honesty, probably the next world global sport, I think, is actually, I think, the UFC.
It's that's the beautiful thing about it. I mean, people. So listen. I mean, that happened just as everybody was going into quarantine. Lockdown was happening. We were all used to like, hey, I'm only going to show up if it's this good. But people have had a time to get hungry and wait for an event. I mean, people are going to drive-in concerts. I saw somewhere around the world, and people are going to drive-in movies. So I'm like, okay, if that's exciting to you, well, then UFC's probably get a good chance to make a mark.
Drivers are making a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw yesterday in the news, drive-ins are starting to reopen because of what's happening. People are, they don't want to go to movie theaters when they reopen. They're going to want to go back to the drive-in thing. And eventually, when there's no more fear of the virus, then obviously they'll go back, and outside, movie theaters, the drive-ins aren't going to be as popular. But I think at the very beginning, I think drive-ins are going to be very popular because a lot of people are cooped up inside, and if they can go to the drive-in, they're going to do that.
Well,
I would.
Yeah. I mean, that card in Brazil was a pretty good card, but it wasn't this card, so double the viewership because of who's on the card.
I would say triple.
Triple,
because at that time it wasn't as big as it is now, and there's still some sports, talked about, and this and that. This was still new. Now, I would say this is going to be triple. I really believe that, and I'm very curious to see what the pay-per-view numbers on this one will do. Hopefully, it'll go over 1 million, which will be only due to the pandemic that it does, But I don't know. I don't know what the numbers will be, but they're going to be big because of what's going on.
Well, I mean, there's people that are getting together irregardless of this quarantine and everything. And there probably will be some house parties having a fight party. I bet you that goes down. The old school when it was like that 10, 15 years ago. Then the bars, like the Buffalo Wild Wings.
So many bars.
Yeah.
It's going to be people, friends, inviting a couple people over. There's going to be a lot of people over, bro, because you got to understand there's a lot of people that are really afraid of catching this virus, and they're not going to want many people at their houses. They're not.
It's true.
I'm sure everybody's experiencing that. Like, where we don't know where he's been, and we don't know what he's touched, and I don't really want that many people in my house. Blah blah blah. I know a lot of people are thinking that they should be thinking that. They should limit it to Very, very, very few people. 1 to 3, 4, maybe. I don't know, but I wouldn't go 10 plus. For damn sure, you're not allowed to. Number one, number two, that kind of dangerous. You even hit the 10 mark. It's kind of dangerous. I think most people are not going to do that. They're going to watch it at their own home, and they're not going to watch it with somebody else. They're going to watch it by themselves. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to, I'm going to invite my friends to come watch it. No, I always watched it by myself. I'm going to continue to watch the shows by myself, unless, so if you can't afford it, somebody can, they invite you. Okay, that's one thing. But you can't afford it, you're going to want to watch it by yourself.
Well, that's an interesting question. I never asked you this. I know, well, you're a professional coach for fighting and former champion, all that stuff. But you like to watch it by yourself. You coach these guys. These are your guys on TV a lot of time. Not so much this card, but other cards, a lot of cards. And has it always been that way, or is it just tougher to watch if you're watching the fight and there's other people, or is it like your meditation, like other people just don't know the fight game and they're saying idiotic things, or what is it, why you like to watch it by yourself so much?
Because I'm a fan. I'm not watching it to critique anybody. I'm watching it for entertainment. I'm just, I like a good knockout. I like a good game plan. I like good action fights. I'm not watching it to critique anybody. I'm just watching it to enjoy it. I'm a fan of the sport, and that's why I watch it. I'm a fan. So even if I wasn't coaching it, I'd still be a fan of the sport. It's a great sport. It's not a real true sport, but it's like boxing. It's as good, it's as big a sport as boxing. But even boxing is not a true sport because they do the same thing. They change whoever they want to fight. They change the rules how they want to change the rules, and that's the way it's always been. Whoever makes the most money is going to get the biggest fight, and that's basically the way this sport works. But it's more entertainment than it is an actual sport.
Well, I think entertainment wins out. You could watch a pretty boring sport, but if there's an exciting match, more people will show up.
Well, the promoter makes more money. The fans want to see it more. Everybody wins more on that one, and it isn't by winning or this and that. It's by, hey, who the UFC wants to put or who the boxing entity wants to try to match together. And they usually want to try to match together what the fans want to see. And boxing, you don't always get to see the best of the best fight each other because the different organizations, they'll fight with each other, et cetera, et cetera. And the UFC, they don't do that. They don't cross promote with other people, and basically all UFC fighters aren't necessarily there to be used by Bellator or ONE FC. They're all used for their particular organization until it becomes regulated like boxing, which as time goes on, government will change it, and it will be the Muhammad Ali Act for MMA. When? I don't know. 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm doing my thing. Coaching my guys and love doing what I'm doing, and we'll see what happens. But government's the only one that's going to be able to change how this goes on and make sure MMA is protected like the Muhammad Ali Act is in boxing. Until then, people are going to do what they're going to do, and you can't blame them. It's like, hey, if I can make $50,000 versus $10,000, I'm going to make 50. Yeah. We all are that way. Every one of us fighters. Yeah. Then I want to say, hey, do you want to fight for 50 or you want to be fair and fight for 10? The fighter's going to go, screw you, I'll fight for 50. I don't care about fair or not fair. Well, that's the way the world works, man. Promotion is going to get the most money because they can and they have until you regulate it and you say, no, you got to distribute it. Why should they distribute it? Yeah. They work out deal, they do their thing, and hey, for all organizations that are out there doing their thing, making the deal, then the art of the deal is on them. And you can say it's not fair, this and that. Well, change it then. Regulate it, change it. Then tell me what I can do. But if I'm the promoter, I'm going to do what I can that's best for my promotion and to make the most money for my promotion. That's what we're about. If you're a fighter, you're trying to make the most money you can for you as a fighter. So who's to blame?
True.
Regulate it. That's different. So you don't regulate it, then don't blame the other person for making the most he can.
I got this. The next person on the card is Cejudo versus Cruz. Cruz is very crafty, really interesting footwork, very good in and out. And Cejudo, he's just a beast. I think he's had more fights. He's been more active. I think that plays to his advantage. Though Dominic Cruz is a pretty crafty guy. He's very good at breaking down fights if you hear him as an announcer. So you could tell he has a very strategic, technical mind. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Well, Dominic has, he's able to break down fights, like I said, but he fights a certain style, and you can't change his style. That's his style.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that can figure out his style and walk him down and beat him at the wrestling game, it's going to be tough for Dominic to try to gain some kind of advantage on the striking when you got a guy walking you down and throwing power shots at you, and you can't wrestle with him. Kind of difficult, man. It's going to be difficult for Dom to go out there and do something to Henry. If Henry walks him down and comes with power shots, what's Dom going to do? Dom has to retaliate. And if he keeps on his movement, he's not going to hit him with any substantial power, because you can't when you're moving like that. The little gloves do add some more power, but not enough to really do anything. And you saw Henry Cejudo, what he did to Marlon Moraes. Marlon was doing really well with him, and all of a sudden Henry just buckled down, put on his jock strap, said, "Let's go, bring it." And he brought it, and Moraes couldn't handle the heat that Henry brought. And I don't know how this one's going to pan out, but I'm assuming it's going to be something like that, where Dominic is going to get tricky and be hard elusive, but Henry's going to walk his ass down and start catching him. That's what I'm anticipating happening, but you never know, right? We say one thing, the fight ends up going completely opposite of what you say. But in just my mind, knowing their strengths and their weaknesses, I see Henry walking him down and potentially taking him down also. Mm-hmm. Just a matter of whether he can or can't. And at that, I'm assuming yes, but man, we'll see, right? Dominic may have another idea for him being able to get taken down. He may go, he ain't taking me down. I'm going to piece him up. One thing's for sure, Dominic cannot hit at his hardest on movement that he does. Cannot. It's impossible.
Well, I mean, he's the kind of guy that, usually outpoints somebody, stays on his bicycle, catches them at an angle that they're not expecting after sucking them into his thing. But I don't think that's going to work as effectively on Henry. If there's an upset, that'll be exciting. I can't, I guess I'd lay my money on Cejudo for this fight.
Yeah, and Dominic's really fun to watch because he's never out of the game. He's always in the game, and man, he's fun to watch. He's masterful the way he fights. Nobody can fight like him. And the people that try, stupid. There's only one Dominic Cruz, and I see now other people try that stuff, and I just laugh because I go, "You're gonna get tired." That guy can go forever. He can go 5 hard rounds like that. I don't think many other people can do 5 hard rounds like Dominic can.
Takes a lot of cardio to be on your bike for a lot of the fight.
He's the inventor of that style. So yeah. He's way ahead of everybody else. Way ahead of everybody else.
Probably runs backwards 5 miles. I'm kidding.
You know.
What if that was the secret?
He's in great shape, and he can do that forever.
Yeah. We've got the last one we'll talk about is Ngannou and Rozenstruik. The odds said they favored Ngannou, and you and I have talked about this before, thinking Rozenstruik because he's more technical. I mean, power-wise, they're
Ngannou power-wise, Ngannou. Striking experience, Rozenstruik, he's by far the more experienced striker, but power-wise, it has to go Ngannou. But, hey, when you got a guy that's got close to 80-something professional fights who didn't lose very many of those, the longer it goes, watch out. So if Ngannou cannot take the control from the beginning, he can run into some trouble later on, because that Rozenstruik can hit, man. He can hit, and Ngannou's never met a guy that's as precision and on top of the game, striking game as him. He's went with with Alistair Overeem, but Alistair, he wasn't the same Alistair in his heyday, as a striker when he was strictly just striking. But this guy, he's on top of his striking game. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I potentially could see an upset.
Well, we're looking at statistics. Ngannou's 14-3. Rozenstruik is 10-0. But that all matters on who you fought and what lineage of fighting you did. But Ngannou's get 100% finish ratio, and Rozenstruik's get 90%. But Rozenstruik's also a more technical guy. So the finishing ratio is only 10% off between the two.
Yeah, and well, also too, like I said, also Rozenstruik doesn't quit. He was going to lose to what do you call it?
Alistair.
He was going to lose to Alistair. Alistair was on his way to win that. That guy never quit, man. The very last minute, boom, he hit him and chopped his lip up, and that was it. It was all over. It was amazing. It was an amazing knockout, and so I think that's what we're going to see again, a guy that's going to try to knock you out all the way through, and don't ever count it out because, hey, he ain't quitting.
And one more fight just for fun. Cowboy is going to be fighting Anthony Pettis. After his last performance, he's kind of middle of the card. They're not top billing him for this, but I guess he just won a fight like he always does. Cowboy's like, yeah, let's go. But there's articles that Cowboy wasn't feeling it when he fought Connor, and I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say.
Believe it. Yeah. I believe because Cowboy don't need to make excuses. He tells you like it is. Either I have it, I don't. And he says he didn't have it. I 100% believe him. 100%. Did he go in with that intent to not have it? Absolutely not. He went in thinking, I'm going to smash this guy. But, sometimes between going in to smash the guy and the actual event happening changes everything. So I could see 100%, Cowboy not having his game. I definitely didn't think he was on his game. That announcer, Stephen, when he mentioned that he didn't give us his best, I knew what he meant. And I agreed with him that Cowboy didn't give us his best. I agreed with him where everybody ripped that guy apart just because he's not an MMA commentator. But the guy is a commentator, and he actually knew what he was talking about, I felt, and here he gets ripped apart, and then all of a sudden now he gets vindicated because Cowboy comes out and say he wasn't who he was. So it's kind of like all the guys that ripped on the announcers. Was it Stephen Hayes, right? Hayes?
Stephen, what's this say? ESPN. Let me look up his name.
Yeah, Stephen. I text him a message that congrats. I agreed.
Stephen A. Stephen A. Yeah.
Stephen A. Yeah, I agreed with him. I thought he was awesome, and how he handled the whole thing. He did not bash anybody. He just said, "I told you guys, that Cowboy didn't give it his best," and that's all. Pretty much it. I mean, he didn't really. He didn't really have to say very much, but everybody sure ripped him when he said Cowboy didn't give his best. They ripped him. But now it's like, who's laughing now? He's not, and it isn't like the guy was gloating either. He just said I was right, and I'm thank you, I was right, and that's it. He got blasted pretty good with though, because I remember reading a lot. I didn't read what they were saying about him, but a lot of people were blasting him.
They jumped on the guy. He was the new kid in the clubhouse. He didn't have any MMA lineage, right? He didn't have any MMA background.
Yeah.
So they're like, dude, sorry, you don't know what you're talking about. And then he just saw what he saw. The guy didn't look like he was motivated. You don't need to be a martial artist to figure that part out.
Yeah. And, it just happens. It can go like from one day to another. You're just like all of a sudden not the same. It happens. I've been there. I know what he's talking about. You go from one day, I'm whooping. All of a sudden you're going, well, I'm not going to get whooped. I'm not going to get whooped. And you go, wait a minute. Yesterday you're talking about whooping the guy. Today you're talking about you're not going to get whooped. Where's the confidence? Well, it happens. It happens. For whatever reason, I don't know. Everybody's different, but I know it 100% it happens, and I know it happened to Cowboy. So, therefore, I don't know how Cowboy's going to perform on this one or Anthony. I think it's going to be actually a pretty interesting fight to see. I'm not even going to say it's going to be a blockbuster of a fight. It may not.
Yeah, be nice if they showed up. If they showed up, I'll be excited. But
it could be a fun fight. It could be a fun fight. It's definitely an interesting. The first one, I forgot even who won. Was it Anthony that won, or was it with Cowboy?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look back, but you're talking about Muay Thai versus Taekwondo here, pretty much. I mean, that's the two styles, right? And MMA.
I just look at it as I don't know about Muay Thai and Taekwondo, because Cowboy's not really a Taekwondo guy.
No. Cowboy's the Muay Thai guy, kickboxer guy.
Right? He didn't even strike me as a Muay Thai guy either. He's just, they're both to me the same type of. If anything, Anthony's more authentic Muay Thai than Cowboy. He trains with Duke Rufus. So that actually is more authentic Muay Thai. So Anthony would be the Muay Thai guy, and Cowboy would just be an orthodox, type of guy. Maybe he kicks any knees, but not traditional Muay Thai. No, Anthony's more traditional Muay Thai than Cowboy, in my opinion.
It's funny. This has happened 100 comments in a row. I did not know that you're my long lost brother, but apparently we're related somehow, and maybe it's through the podcast. We're podcast family. But I swear again today, Hav, This lady's like, you guys look like brothers, like from the same family. I'm like, oh, okay. It's a compliment to one of us. I don't know which one, but it's a compliment. I'm going to go to the fan questions. It was pretty nice. These people turned on a dime. I mean, you gave me 10 minutes to get fan questions, and our fans showed up once again. And of course, John Morstan, who always has all the questions. This is kind of funny. Any updates on Islam trying to sneak over to train with Khabib?
No, I don't know anything. I've been trying to get a hold of Islam. He hasn't returned any of my texts. Khabib's been texting me stuff, saying he misses me and misses the team, but that's it. But no, I haven't got anything back from Islam.
Okay. Well, I mean, the last podcast, it was the beginning of the quarantine, and it's like, he's like, no, I can't even go over there. So I think that's where that question
came from. No, that's what that's for, but I don't know. I don't know. I think nothing's changed over there. I think it's the same. They can't go over.
John Morstan is awesome with the questions. If Coach could pick any current UFC fighter to train, who would it be outside of your gym, basically?
It's a tough one. There's quite a few.
Well, just name a couple or like general interest. That's not like you've put it all, because obviously there's not a quick answer to this one.
No, there's not a quick answer to that one because no one. I mean, I train some really great guys already that I really love training. So more talented, more this. I don't know. These guys are all freaking incredible. But let's say Paulo. It was Costa, right?
Yeah, Paulo Costa.
Yeah, Paulo Costa.
That's a good one. That's a good choice.
Who else would I think I enjoy training?
You see Israel, but you said like stay at your own gym. But I mean, if you could and he didn't have a place, you'd probably love that.
That's it. There's Paulo Costa guy. That'd be interesting to train him.
Okay, that's interesting. That's from a coach perspective. That's not a standard canned interview type thing. Oh, this is from Jassim Amina. No question. Just wanted to say you're a great, cool coach. Much love from Oran, Algeria. That's pretty nice.
Thanks. Got a smile out of me.
You're a great, cool coach, huh? I thought so. So John, again, is back running the show. Who is Coach Javier's current UFC fighter? And once again, I'll say, of course, not within your own house, but, different than training him, I guess. I mean, you always mention Israel, but, that's one of your tops. Like,
who's my favorite outside of our guys?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Israel for watching. I like Israel for sure. He's fun to watch, and the fight with Romero. A lot of people give him slack, but I mean, when you're a striking guy and you're a striking coach, you see who's who, and you saw Israel doing everything he could to try to engage Romero to get out of his turtle shell, and he didn't. So he didn't perform like he could have and should have to make the fight exciting. And he should have let it go. Romero should have let go in order to have an opportunity to beat Israel. Israel was doing everything he could without getting clipped, but he was trying to open up that turtle shell, and that's what he did. But Romero was covering up way, way too much. He did what he always does, and it's like a boring fight because it's only exciting, when he explodes, and he rarely does that.
Yeah.
If that guy would change his style, in my opinion, we should have seen a world champion, but as he keeps doing what he's doing, it's going to be hard to be a world champion, when you only sporadically fight, and it works for him. I guess that's what he likes to do. But that's what my view was that Israel fought great, in my opinion. He fought like he needed to fight, and Romero fought on occasion. And if Romero would have fought more, we might have seen a different outcome.
Hard to change your style, when you're the same, the age of Romero. I mean, the guy's 40-something, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did the same when he fought Luke Rockhold. He fought the same type of cover up, and then exploded. And he got Luke, and then like Luke said, he got tired of being chased around, so Luke stood his ground. He paid the price. But the bottom line is, he hasn't changed his style. He's still fighting the same. He's just getting better at it.
Yeah. Once you get into your style, I mean, have you ever seen anybody change their style with 10 years into the
No,
game?
no, not too often. And the people, like I said, people find your style exciting. They find it exciting. Romero is one of the most exciting individuals on earth when he's aggressive.
When he
He
shows
is
up.
so exciting because he's so dangerous. But the problem is he just doesn't do enough of it for the fans to want to see him go. I myself, when he does things, I'm in awe of the guy, but then he stops,
Yeah.
and then he waits, and then he goes again. If he would just continuously attack, man, what a beast.
He's the sample platter. He gives you something to nibble on, and then, no, you're still hungry. Where's the rest? I get it. This is a nice one from Nassim Kareem. What is the secret of your cool and calm personality, Javier?
I'm a thinker. I think it out before I explode. It takes a lot to get me going, so I've always been a thinker. I always think first, and I think that's the reason why I don't explode. And I'm a nice guy, to be honest with you. So, combination of both.
Yeah, that's just your natural state, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Coach, have you ever fasted from sunrise till sunset like in Ramadan? What's your overall view on Ramadan?
Ramadan's fantastic. It's a great religion, and believing in God, is the best as always. God is the greatest. And but as far as fasting, man, I couldn't do it. I could maybe go 6-8 hours at the most, but I couldn't do more than that. I've never in my whole entire life been able to go more than 8 hours without eating or drinking. Are you kidding me? I couldn't survive. I love to eat, man. And that's my biggest problem is I love to eat. So no, I couldn't do it.
William Bilbo Horrocks, is Khabib unbeatable and has his sparring improved significantly? Thanks, God bless.
To me, Khabib is unbeatable as long as Khabib wants to fight. And yes, he's improved so much. And if the people that undervalue his striking, then you should come in here if you're ever privileged enough to get, the green light to come watch him spar against some of the professionals and some professional boxers. You might think different about your opinion about his striking, but till then, we'll just have to wait for his fights in the octagon. And you guys always have to remember, I'm always going father's plan first. So regardless of whether I get Khabib to the point where he's an incredible striker, I'm still going to go father's plan because nobody in the world can beat him at 155 as long as he uses father's plan. So why do I want to change it? I don't ever want to change it. I want to make him the best striker ever for me, but he's still going to use father's plan.
Yeah, it's true. This one, I cannot pronounce your Russian name. C. If the current virus situation continues as it is, can we expect to see Khabib in September still?
I don't know if it continues the way it is because you don't know what's going to happen with Russia and if they're going to lift the ban for traveling. I mean, you never know. If it gets worse over there, they might not allow Khabib to come and train, So I don't know, man. Keeping my fingers crossed that one more month of this and everybody can start traveling a little bit. Because this pandemic is gonna get over with at some point, but the coronavirus is here to stay, man. It's like the flu, bro. We got the flu, and so I don't see how we're gonna beat it, other than the vaccine and you're on it. But I don't know, man. I'm not the expert, but I'm thinking, until we have a plan on how to beat that, then yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. But the plan is September. Hopefully September or August for him to come back.
Well, things are pretty rough in Russia right now. They haven't hit their peak yet. So
no,
yeah.
But they're locked down pretty good, and then they're very strict over there. More than here, way more than here.
I have a question. This is from John again. John, thanks for running the show. How much longer do you plan on being a coach, Javier?
Well, I was almost going to quit sooner than later because I almost hit it rich. And then all of a sudden I shot my, myself in the foot. And so now I'm thinking, you know what, better to stay something you love and something else comes around great. So I think the rest of my life.
I think so too. I think that it is who you are. And I don't think coaches know how to stop coaching and being part of the game and the excitement. I mean, what are you going to do? Sit at home and say, no, I'm just going to sit at home. You can't do it. It's not your nature.
I would never sit at home anyways. That's not going to happen.
It's on your Instagram. You're like, come on, let's get back already. So yeah, I think that's our answer. Okay, here's a question from Khabib Time. How good is Umar striking?
Umar striking, well, world champion amateur, and MMA, and I believe in the striking department. So, and he started more as a Muay Thai guy. So, and I don't know if he's lost very many at all, if any. So his striking is top notch, right now. On a striking level only, I'll put him in with anybody in the UFC. Just striking only, no problem.
Sam Alardisi, we all know about Umar, but what about the other potential young fighters? Can you name a few that we don't know?
Umar's cousin, brother, Usman. Usman's incredible. Tahir is a 125 champion from the Guerrilla Fighting Championships. Tahir's badass. Haji's another one. He was in the PFL. He's incredible. Islam Mamedov. He's another good one. And man, they got quite a few. But the big stars are those guys. And there's another one, the 170 pounder. He was just here. Man, I just blanked out. I forgot his name. Shoot.
You thinking about Islam or?
No, he's the 170 pounder. He walks around 200. The taller one of the two. He's awesome. He's been here the last 2 training camps.
Mm-hmm.
He's heavier. He was sparring with Islam a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Tagir or Sagid, but I didn't know.
Sagid.
Okay.
Yeah, Sagid. Yeah, Tahir. I already said Tahir. Tahir's 125. Yeah. Sagid is the 170 pounder. That he's like. I think Sagid's got 1 loss or 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 15-2 or something like that. So no, he's incredible too. Khabib's got an incredible team. Out of all those guys, it's Umar's brother Usman. He's my next pick to be a star. Tahir next after him, and so on. They got a ton of guys coming up, man.
Get a star train running through AKA, and
they got their own thing going over there. Yeah. They come in here. I'm part of them. They got their own team over there.
You're an important station that they stop by. That's what it is.
Well, it's important for them because they love me and they want to train with me and they feel very comfortable. And I have 7 or 8 of those guys that I train.
That's for sure. Who's the hardest working fighter at AKA that most fans don't know about yet? I'll give you my opinion, and that is, look at the Salim videos. He's one of them for sure. And the brothers and the 2 guys that live with them. And I'm talking at the entry level. What do you think, Javier? And then?
Hardest worker that no one knows about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one.
Yeah, see, there's over 100. See, people, Javier's thinking there's like 100+ fighters that come through AKA throughout.
Yeah, 100+ fighters. That's only like 30.
Well, I'm just saying that visit.
At one time, there may be more, but there's no 100+ fighters. I wish. Big selection. Man, I think you're right. Salim might very well be the. I mean, there's so many, but I think Salim edges everybody out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking on hardest working. Doesn't mean that there isn't a guy that might have a step above.
No, there's a lot of hard workers here. It's just that I'm just trying to think which one stands out as doing a little extra. Salim. I mean, Ed Ruth's another one that does extra, but he's known. So you said not known. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have said Ed Ruth.
Well, check out the Salim videos. Check out his podcast. He's a very charismatic guy. He's very fun. The guy's had a rough life, and he worked his ass off to get to AKA as though it was the only destination in the world. And, gotta love Salim, man. It was entertaining to podcast with. You might have been surprised by that one, Hav. You still didn't see the podcast. He was taking me into new depths. So we all know about Umar. Okay. How many brothers does Khabib have?
As far as I know, 1.
Mm-hmm.
1. Muhammad.
Yeah?
Yeah. I met him a few times. Nice guy. Really quiet. He's not really around the fight game much.
Oh, yeah?
Nope.
Let's see. Hello, Coach. This is from Zenob Toy World. Hello, Coach. Being a former kickboxer yourself, what do you think about the current heavyweight champs like Rico Veerhoven, Badr, and Jamal Ben Sadik?
Rico he'd been here 2 training camps, came to train with us. He's an incredible kickboxer, incredible person, really fun to watch. While he was here, it was fun watching him train in MMA and kickboxing. No, Rico Veerhoven is the man. The other 2, Badr Hardy, I don't know very much about him other than strong guy, very famous. And the other guy, even less. But Rico I know because he was here. He trained here about 2 times and for about a month at a time. Incredible guy, incredible kickboxer.
Big. He looked dangerously powerful. He looked like he was built like a different kind of machine for kickboxing. Big, powerful legs, and like you didn't want to get kicked by one of those tree trunks.
He's really good, man.
Yeah. Will Daniel Cormier put more wrestling into his next fight? This is from Kulik, or is he looking for a boxing trainer more?
Well, I don't know. We're going to get started soon, so hopefully we can get something going with the champ, because Daniel's next fight's for a title, and that's it. So one more title shot, and we're calling it quits for him, hopefully. I hope that he does keep to his word, and hopefully we're able to regain that title, but we'll see. But he doesn't need a boxing coach. He's got a boxing coach. He's Rosendo Sanchez and Rudy Mendoza. And he's got me, and so he's got all he needs. A lot of people say, well, he should get okay. And a lot of armchair quarterbacks and whatever. And then a lot of other coaches think they can offer something. It's like, anybody that's a real coach knows you can't make a quick change in somebody overnight. It takes a while to make changes. And why would Daniel switch when he's happy with what he's doing?
Well, you say that about other coaches too. Like, I mean, you were saying that about Israel. Like, look, it's working for him. I'm not trying to draft him over to my team. I enjoy him as a fighter, but you're not like, ooh, I got 6 more moves.
Look, I show him what? Show him shit. He's got a great coach. He's a world champion.
Right.
Without even knowing my fucking name. So give me a break. Israel Asanda is a badass. He's got a badass coach. Simple as that. It's like, what am I going to add? Dude, it's like, come on, man. There's so many other great coaches out there. I'm not the only good coach in the world. There's a lot of other ones that are even better, or could seem better or are better. Who knows? I don't know. I just know is that I'm not the only coach, and there's other great coaches out there.
I think it's like, how does a coach fit with a fighter? How do they work together? What's their chemistry?
There's a lot of variables. How do you fit together? Does the fighter actually even want to train with you? Because if he doesn't, it doesn't matter how great you think you are. He don't want to train with you. So guess what? You're worthless. For him, you may not be worthless as a coach, but for him, you're worthless because he's not going to listen to you. You're not going to take to heart what you say. So what's the point of coaching that guy? Because he's famous? Because you think you're that great? You ain't going to teach him shit because he ain't going to want to listen to you.
Sure.
Now that same person don't want to listen to you. He can listen to somebody who's never trained before, and he can do better with that person because he's going to listen. And if that guy has any eye for combative sports, and some people do, believe it or not, without actually having any experience in it, they can go out there and tell you what to do and make you better than you would yourself because they have an eye for it. I've seen that too many times in my life to not believe that someone with no experience can come in and outdo a guy with massive experience. As long as the massive experienced guy, the fighter himself, wants nothing to do with that guy. And the other guy that's a newbie, that's never done it, but loves the idea and has a great concept, he could teach that guy.
Well, I think, I don't know if Tyson Fury was working out with a new guy before one of his fights. He was doing something.
He was working out with the newbie type of guy, but then something happened between them. Then he left him for a really experienced guy. But results speak for themselves. He came in better shape the second time around. And, man, he did a great job, man. Did a great job, and just like the Anthony Joshua situation, Anthony Joshua loses his title. He comes back lighter than ever, sticks to the game plan, and he did fantastic. Ruiz, on the other hand, came in heavier, didn't really stick to the game plan like originally, so he paid the price, hey, man.
There's that old saying in business, there's that old saying in sports, don't ship canoes in the middle of the stream or whatever. Don't switch canoes, don't switch boats midstream. But sometimes it works. It just depends who you are.
The bottom line is, if you don't like that coach, why the hell should you stay with him? So you should switch. Like if I have a fighter and he doesn't want to listen to me, doesn't matter what my credentials are or what I've done. He doesn't want to listen to me. He shouldn't train with me. obviously it shouldn't. No matter what I've done or what I haven't done, it doesn't matter. Don't train with me because it's
Yeah.
stupid. You train with the person you feel comfortable with. You train with the person you respect. You train with the person that if he tells you something, you're going to do it. You don't train with somebody that just because he's got credentials. That's dumb. You're not going to
Wait,
listen to him.
that
You
that
know,
that that
there's got to be
happens
a
more in
connection.
college football. You get recruited to a team, and all of a sudden you're standing off with the general, the coach. This is how it is. This is my way or the highway, kid. I know you're great, but this is how it is. So different with fighting, they can pick who their coach is, who their trainer is,
Yeah, they
right?
should.
Yeah.
They should. They should. They should pick who they're comfortable with, because it's their goddamn career. Fighters need to be selfish. They need to be selfish. They need to think, well, I got to be a team player. You don't become a team player. MMA is not a team sport. I say it all the time. We're not a team, really a team, but we try to be as much of a team as possible because we need each other. We don't have the kind of money that's paid for sparring partners and this and that. That's why we are a team, you know. But are we really a team? No, this is an individual sport. You have to be selfish and you have to do what's best for you. So sticking with the team concept is great for you, but realistically, it's not a team sport.
Yeah, that's true. I have one more question, and then I have one more that I was curious about. Okay, so this is Musa ASA. Do you think Khabib could outstrike Tony or Justin on the feet?
100% could outstrike them both.
That's
But
beautiful.
not going to happen because I won't allow it.
Mhm.
Scream my head off. Father's plan, father's plan. He can, but we won't see it. Unless they
Yeah,
come spar here, then if you get your privilege, then you can watch it, but not going to happen in the fights.
exactly, right? So I guess what I was going to ask, I did an interview with Myles from Ireland, who used to train with Connor. How did that come together? I mean, how did you guys feel initially knowing that he used to train with Connor SBG? I mean, I know he wasn't exactly requested upon to be the secret weapon to beat Connor or anything, but he came over there because he get tired of working with that team and went to his own team. But it's funny when we ran a video about him, people are like, "He's a spy." I'm like, "For who?" You know what I mean?
Well, the thing with Myles, when he asked to come train here, I let him train here, and I didn't even know where the hell he was from. I just let him train here, and I had no idea he trained with Connor until somebody says, "Coach, Myles, is training with Connor." I go, what? What do you mean training with Connor? He goes, yeah, he's training with Connor. I said, I didn't know that. I go, hey, Myles, I heard you train with Connor. He goes, no. I used to train with Connor. We were in the same team, but we had a fallout, and now I train with some other team. But I know Connor and them. I said, oh, okay, well, you're fine. For a while there, someone was making it look like he was training with him actively, because I go, oh man, that's going to be a problem. And he said, no. We don't. We are a different team. So that's what happened with Myles. It was never, we brought him over here for that reason. I didn't even know. And we didn't use Myles for hardly any sparring at all, and nor did we need to, nor did we want to. Myles has his set of skills, and this whole thing with Myles being here was not about him helping Khabib. It was about the team helping Myles get better, and I believe we did that. He got better, and every time he came here, he is better. And I am proud to say that Myles is, he's an AKA member, so Myles doesn't need permission to come here. He can come here anytime because he's an AKA member for life. And something else happens that changes that, to me, he's always going to be welcome here. He through and through.
He's a gentleman. He's a good guy, but I could see people making that because when they watch media, it's painted with a broad brush. It's Ireland versus Dagestan.
Yeah,
No,
and I never talked to Myles about Connor. I never say, hey, what, you got any secrets? I don't need no secrets. The guy's got video out there of him fighting all the time. Just watch his fights. That's all. I didn't ask Myles one question about Connor because I didn't need to. And that's not what he was here for. I'm not that kind of a sleazeball that I'm going to use him to get information on Connor. I didn't need to get any information on him. I already knew what we were ahead, was ahead of us, and that was it. But Myles had nothing to do with it. Myles being here had nothing to do with with any advantage for us on Connor. Zero. Zero.
Well, the thing is, what people don't realize, I film, you coach. I see that the fighters are so busy sparring with an opponent. There's no way you could look over your shoulder and not get clocked trying to spy. And what are you going to glean, which is all on videotape, and almost 30 years of grappling under Khabib's belt? You're not going to look at 5 or 6 rounds with somebody and take any information that can change the world. There's no competitive advantage that you could take from that.
No, you're wrong.
You're
wrong, 100% wrong.
Damn it, I'm wrong, guys. Sorry, I was protecting
you can grab and you can look at a guy going into a fight, and you can look at 30 seconds of that guy's actual sparring, and you'll pick up some stuff that'll open a hole for you. I do that all the time, so you're 100% wrong. So when it comes to, that's why when it comes to actual fighting, you don't want to show what you're actually working on. That's why when the UFC embedded come in, I would tell them, hey, what do you guys want? I'm not going to give you our workout, but I'll give you whatever you want. Because if I give them my workout and the other coach is looking and they're seeing what we're doing, they're going to go, oh, he's going to do this. And no, you can definitely pick up on, you could 5 minutes or less, even a minute, even 30 seconds, you can pick up stuff if you know what you're looking for.
Has that been common in the game? I mean, people trying to have spies in different camps. I mean, probably as far back as boxing.
I think the spy thing is a little far. It's just a little too much for people to say we got spies. I think that's bullshit. As far as that, I think there's some truth to it, but I don't think it's that widespread. I think that, like in Miles's case, people will think, well, he's a spy. Well, nothing from the truth, but people still think that. But in his case, has zero to do with anything, zero, other than they're both from Ireland and they both happen to have trained with each other. But he was not used for any information. He was not really used for sparring whatsoever. He sparred with Khabib on a few occasions, but for the most part, Myles was here for Myles. He wasn't here for Khabib.
Yeah, I mean, and then at a different, Khabib shows up every camp, he evolves. So that old version is now a new version. Right?
Different version every time.
Yeah. That's the pretty interesting thing. Well, it's been a good podcast with you, Hav. You hanging in there? Everything's good?
Yep, hanging in there. Thank you, government, for not taking care of us small business guys. Thank you for helping most of us go under, you pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Keep that on them.
Yeah, I will keep that on there.
How I feel about them.
You're still feeling that on? They're not coming to help at all?
I help a little bit, but, not the way they need to.
They'll give you enough to, yeah.
I'm not a fan of any of them, power hungry bastards. They all are. There's whatever. I mean, there's some good they're doing, obviously. And, in all fairness, I guess, I may bitching this and that, but it's better to be in the US of A and have these benefits that they do versus being in another country where you're getting zero benefits and they're still shutting you down. So I guess, I could bitch all I want, but it could be worse somewhere else. So
yeah,
I'm blessed to be in America, which I love, which is my country, and, versus anywhere else.
Well, we have, we're going to be releasing the Mowgli podcast, I think, end of the week here. You've got a fighter on, he just signed the contract. I was waiting for that. He just signed the contract with UFC for the fight night.
Omar Morales at 155, which is something we 100% didn't want because he's a bigger guy. Mowgli's a 145er. This guy's super strong, 9-0, dangerous striker, on a good win streak, 9-fight win streak. This is a tough fight. This will be Mowgli's fight at 155, but Mowgli's very dangerous, very experienced. We'll see what happens. I'm anticipating Mowgli, in all honesty, is probably gonna do really well, and we should do really, really well.
So that was a tough switch up. I mean, since we did the podcast, they switched the opponent once, I guess, huh?
We've had quite a few switch ups. So it's not one, not two, not three. We've had 5-6 opponents switch. But it's with the pandemic and everything, people can find adequate training, and and then also opponents too. We may say yes to an opponent, they may say no to us. Who knows what goes on behind scenes? We just know we've been switched around for quite a few opponents. Since this all started when we were supposed to fight, he's had, I think, 7 opponents thrown at him. And he's accepted like 6. We declined 1, but we accepted 6. But of those 6, none of them materialized.
Wow, they didn't want none. Well,
What happens? Well, we didn't want none of the other ones, so you can't say well, you guys are no. It happens to everybody, man. Right matchups, this and that, this and that. You know, it's just it wasn't the right. They weren't the right matchups for us. That one individual wasn't, and we said, hey, we're not ready for that type of style, so we declined. You know, and so you can't blame people for turning you down either. You know,
yeah.
it's a fight game. You just gotta, if you're fighting, you gotta be ready to fight, and you can't let those excuses stop your momentum, because once you do that, you're not a real fighter.
Well, I mean, people like that episode because Mowgli talks a lot during that episode. I'm kidding, but it's good that he made. We Hav and I kind of brought him into his first podcast. That was pretty nice. We appreciate all you subscribers. We've had a lot of growth lately, and please share and like and subscribe to the channel with your friends. Thanks for watching, Javier and I. There you are, Hav.
All right,
Good to go.
Good to go.